Good afternoon, guys. I hope you are having a great weekend. Thank you for tuning back into KC Farms. Today we are getting every single chicken that we own out onto pasture. But before we do that, we've got to get the donkeys their mineral block. They've been waiting a little while for this and I keep forgetting. So let's head over here to the donkey pen and let's get their mineral for them. There you go, guys. There you are. Right, we don't really talk too much about the donkeys. The donkeys are just pets for us. But you can see they were needing their mineral block and they definitely enjoy it. If you haven't followed us very long, this white one here is Leroy and the brown one is Marine. And they have really warmed up to us and we have definitely enjoyed having them on the farm. We've thought about moving on from them, but they've bonded to us and it's hard to let an animal go that you've worked with and trained, and we're able to halter break them, and they're pretty fun to have. So yeah, you can see they've been wanting some mineral, so I'm glad we were able to get that in here today. And we're gonna head out and let them enjoy that. So if you didn't know, Leroy, Marine, just pets here at KC Farms. So they've Marine's almost blown her whole coat. Leroy has blown his for the summer and he's nice and slicked down. We just got their hooves done not very long ago, and this is their pasture out here. Obviously needs to be mowed and moved and things like that, but those are the KC Farms donkey crew. How you doing, Leroy? Leroy was the one that was the hardest for us to get used to us, but now he's eating out of our hands and he does very well. So anyway, like I said, we got to get all these chickens out on the pasture. So we've got our handy dandy chicken crates. Definitely not chicken crates, but that's what we use them for. So let's start loading these up and getting chickens outside. All right, heading into the brooder, and we will show you some differences between egg layers and meat birds in the brooder. So here are our egg layers. These are 65 brown sex links, and they are 3 weeks old, and they're about ready for a fresh bedding. So they're usually chickens feather out in 4 weeks. These guys are 3 weeks, and so they've got a little fuzz on their heads, you can see, but most of their wing feathers are starting to come in. But as you'll see, they are more scratchers than the meat birds. You can see their water, which we've been coming out at noon and changing it. It's still got a ton of water in it, but they scratch up the pine shavings into their water and make quite a mess. They also roost up here and poop in their feeders, which is super annoying. But their pen is not quite as dirty as the Cornish cross. Now remember, these are 3 weeks old. So we head over here. This is our other group of Cornish that is in here. And this is the first time all season, I'm happy to share this with you guys. 100 birds, we have not lost a single bird. We've been losing over 10% on our Cornish cross, which is not good. And we've been trying to figure out what the heck is going on, but super excited to announce, and let me knock on wood, we have not lost a single Cornish cross. I think there's 102 in here actually. And these are only 2 weeks old. And you can see the difference in the poop. Actually, this is where the water is, so it's kind of been getting wet there and matting down. They're about ready. They would need new shavings too if I wasn't taking them outside. But you can see they've got more fuzz on them than the brown sex links. They're a week younger. They are probably just as big, if not bigger, and wondering what the heck is going on. But you can see in their waters, no pine shavings. They don't get up here and poop. They don't really roost. When they're younger, they sometimes jump up on things, but these birds just stay closer to the ground. Now, we have been getting comments about how ugly and awful our Cornish cross look. And if you've never raised them, you know, well, I mean, you don't know if you've never raised them, that they don't really grow feathers like egg-laying chickens. And they put most of their energy into size and they normally don't fill out fully in feathers until just about processing time at 8 weeks old. So yes, I agree, they are uglier, but they're still healthy. They're still healthy. There's nothing wrong. They're not being neglected. That is just the meat bird breed of chickens. That's what they do. They're bred to get big quick, and they don't use energy growing feathers. They use energy packing on meat. So I always kind of want to reply with nasty comments when I see those comments, but I'm going to take the high road. So anyway, yes, Cornish cross are ugly, but these guys are waiting to get outside. 65 in here. I believe it's 102 in here, so 167 birds, and that will put every single bird that we have on the farm out on the pasture. Now, we'll get 2 more orders of Cornish cross in, and we'll have these brooders cleaned out and ready for them, so that will be nice. But this is the first time since we started this year that every single bird is out on pasture. Normally, we wouldn't take them out this early, but it's going to be in the 90s during the day, mid-60s at night. The only ones I would be concerned about are these. And we'll probably put the sidewalls down on the chicken tractors. We'll show you that as we get them outside. But we're going to start with the egg layers. They're going to be a lot harder to catch. You can see they've got a lot more energy, a little more flighty, and don't really care for us right now. But these sex links, as they get older, we spend more time with them when they're outside. They will warm up and be great chickens. So let's start loading them up. There's a handful of chicks. All right, every time we bring them out here, doesn't matter if it's egg layers or meat birds, it's quite a shock to them at first to see the new area that's so bright and doesn't have pine shavings in it. Let's get the other group. There you go. Go on. Go on. Spread out. Yeah. Okay, for now we're just going to use the waters that we had. We've got a trough feeder that we have hung from the ceiling, just like with all our other meat birds. We've got them out here in this chicken tractor, and we have enough of these right now that we can use this for the egg layers. The only thing I want to do is I'm gonna put some roosts up in here so they can roost at night, and they like to get up off the ground. I'm not sure they'll know exactly what that is right now, but chickens like to move around and explore, and they'll figure out the roost very quickly. So they're still a little shocked, wondering what is going on here. We'll probably move these once a day instead of twice like we do with the meat birds. They might even be able to stay a little bit longer. We'll just check the area and make sure it's good. But excited to have these birds outside, and I know they're gonna adjust well, and I do not think it will get cold enough that is gonna affect these birds at all. They're actually kind of in an ugly stage too, where they're losing their fluff and getting their feathers, and they produce a lot of dander when that happens. So anyway, brown sex links are out. Looks like we might have a rooster in the bunch. This big brown one right here. Let's see, right here. You definitely look like a rooster to me. You're not gonna have too many eggs, are you? We'll keep an eye and see what he or it turns out to be, but I would assume that is probably a rooster. Sometimes that happens when you order all females. It's just the way it is. So I'm okay with a couple roosters if we have them. So anyway, this is going to be a great spot for them. It is definitely warm enough that these birds don't have to worry about it. We're going to jump out of here. We'll grab the meat birds and get them outside. And also, we're going to be I've been working on a video how much it costs to get your first egg. So stay tuned for that. If you've thought about raising egg layer chickens and wondering how much it's going to cost, think you're going to save money because you're going to have your own eggs at home, you might be surprised. But I'm not trying to discourage you. Your own eggs at home are a lot better than what you can get at the store, unless you find a local farmer that has good eggs. So that's something we're gonna be working on with this batch of birds, following along how much they cost to get our first egg. So stay tuned for that. Obviously these birds are only 3 weeks old. They will be around 18 to 22 weeks by the time we start to see our first eggs. So that video will be coming up here in a little bit. So let's head out and get the last of the Cornish cross on the pasture. Alrighty, there we go. All of our chickens are out on pasture. So I've just used their waters that they had in the brooder right now, just to get them used to it. I think these guys are a little bit too small for the watering pans that we use. I know there's other better options for watering, but this is just what we've been using, and it's been working well for us. You can see those birds down here have already found the trough feeders. That is the one problem with the trough feeders, is they get in it like this and eventually somebody will poop in it. Why don't you just stay down there and eat, bud? So anyway, that gives us 165 chicks today out on grass, and like we talked earlier, we have not had much rain, so this grass is quite dry. There's a little bit in here, and they're picking through it. You can see them right there picking through and finding things that they want. But 2 weeks old and we are out on pasture. So that is the good part about summertime. It's a lot warmer, so they don't need to be in those brooders as long. So every single bird we have is out of a brooder and on to fresh grass. Let's go check them all out. I know sometimes they're not as cute as regular chickens, regular egg layers or dual purpose chickens. But here, I'm pretty sure this is the group. These younger ones are about 4 weeks old. They've got naked bums and very little feathering, so they do kind of look a little funky. But they are perfectly normal, healthy chickens, and they are going to be delicious here in about 4 weeks. So they are running up and down the pastures right now and doing great. There's just under 100 birds in here, and the ones we brought out back there, 102, and the other ones are way up here by the house. Let's go check it out. These are the oldest chickens we have on the farm at this time, oldest meat chickens anyway. We've got about a week and a half, just about 2 weeks for these ones, and we've got just around 100 in here as well, and they are looking good. We're excited about how these are turning out. You can see when they get warm, they stretch out and lay down on their side, but they are just fine. We're getting ready to feed this afternoon. We'll pick up all the waters, the feeders, and move them to another spot, and that is how we rotate. We just rotate up and down this pasture. We've got 4 chicken tractors now. This is the first time we've had all 4 of them running this year. We used to try to get down to the end of a lane and make a quick turn and turn it right back around 180 degrees, and now, if you followed along, we talked about this before, these tractors are kind of hard to pivot like that. So we just make like a big track. We do a big oval and they go up and down. When we've got better weather and more rain, you can see the great grass growing where the tracks of these tractors have been. And usually by the time we get back to the first spot they were on, that ground is ready to have more birds on it. So that has worked well for us. Sometimes we go up alongside and behind the house, but for the most part, we keep all of our chickens right up here in this front pasture. And Cal normally is sleeping on the front porch, and we haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had any issues with predators, so it has worked well for us. So here's the little egg layers. Seems like they have kind of got over the shock of wondering what the heck is going on here. They still don't want to come up and say hi to everybody, but they have found that trough of feed, and I see some of them drinking here just a minute ago, but they have it all figured out. Like I said, I'm gonna put up some roosting bars in here so they can get used to getting up off that ground. The egg layers love to do that. All chickens love to do that. It's just the meat birds are so big, they don't really roost. So anyway, that is a good sight, good sight. Every single bird, all of our egg layers are out. We call them safe range. They don't just free range all over the farm. We've got the electric netting up around them, and we'll move them weekly or bi-weekly, just depending on how the area looks. And so we call them safe range chickens. So anyway, can't leave this weekend without getting a shot of the pigs. So here they are. You saw that they got moved just the last video. They are looking at me funny too, because they know what time it is. They're wondering why I'm here without the cart or the feed bucket. But they're doing great, getting big. We are planning on probably castrating a couple more, just for the simple fact that we don't need all these intact boars around. We have not sold them, and that is totally fine. But anyway, that's what's going on with the piglets. Next move, they were back there, moved up here. Next move will be right off behind the house. We can sit on the back porch and enjoy piglets in the evening, or whenever we want, but they're more active in the evening when the sun is not out and they're getting blasted. But when the sun is out, they're all hanging out in the pool, so that's always enjoyable to watch as well. So anyway, guys, we've got 2.5 weeks before we get our next batch of Cornish cross, and we're only getting 2 more batches. We are excited about that. With the year, I've talked about it, this year has been efficient. We haven't been overwhelmed with processing and just getting back-to-back processing. We've had about a 1.5 weeks off, and we'll start processing these birds that we just showed you in about 2 weeks, I guess. And we normally do about 25-30 birds a day. That's it, and it works out well for us. So anyway, we'll leave you with the egg layers here. So excited to have these out. Like I said, we're going back to the brown sex link. They are our choice for eggs, and they lay big eggs, and they lay a lot of eggs. So we are excited. We'll be looking out 18 to 24, 22 probably. These birds lay a lot sooner than a lot of other breeds. So we'll have a bunch of eggs probably in November, and it'll keep us in eggs throughout the winter. So that will be nice. So appreciate you following along. Hope your weekend has been fabulous. Don't forget to make the change, and we will see you guys on the next video.